Hello everyone, this is Mel here. Today I want to talk about the Warhammer Quest Curse City, the homebrew rules or house rules that I have been using or testing. This is not going to be a review video, but more about my impression on why I picked these house rules and why I think they make the Warhammer Quest Curse City a lot more fun to me. So, as you can see, I have the game set up in front of me. I have a really small table, and that is one of the issues that I have been having with the Curse City because the original way of playing it, as you can see, there are 3 modes. This is one of it, the Hunt Journeys. Basically what you need to do is to roll on one of these preset maps, and some of them are really big, as you can see over here. If we look at this Bloodways, there are lots of tiles, and as you can see, it will not fit on my tiny table. So table constraint is one of the reasons, one of the main reasons why I am not playing with the original rules. And the second reason is that I also like playing with kind of less than 4 heroes. So the original rules states that you have to have 4 heroes at one single time, so you can't play with less than 4. But I have used the same house rules that was published in the White Dwarf magazines for Blackstone Fortress, where you actually just uses the additional 8 dice, for example, if you play with 2 heroes, and just roll them, add them to the destiny dice and use them that way. So for example, if I have to roll for destiny dice, I would roll these additional 4. That's a good roll. And I would add these to the dice pool, the destiny dice pool, for these heroes to use. I think it's a really good system because one of the criticisms that people have with Curse City is that it is a very easy game. There are ways that Games Workshop has made it easier. First of all, the way of tracking wounds. So now basically you have 8 wounds or 8 health points each for these heroes, because first of all you need to, when you receive an attack, if you fail to defend, you will get a wound over here, and if you failed again, if you receive another attack, you will flip this one to the grievous wounds. That basically means that you have 4 times 2 as your total number of wounds that you can take before you go out of actions. So this is one reason why the game is easier. There are other reasons which we'll cover later on, but I think this is a really good system because in this way we only have 2 heroes and each of them has 8 health points. Although they can do a lot more actions each because there's additional 8 dice pools to use. Totally they only have 16 health points compared to if we have 4 heroes, 8 times 4 is 36, for example. Sorry, 32 health points. So this is one of the reasons I use this system, and I think it's a fairly balanced one, and it makes the game slightly more difficult because once you get hit, you need to manage your wounds immediately, because otherwise you will go out of actions pretty quickly. The other house rules that I have to mitigate my table constraints is the house rules by Jose Semelo. Sorry if I butchered your name. He has posted a dungeon crawl journey rules on Facebook on the Warhammer Cursed City fan page. And basically what it does is it replaces the original system, the journey systems, to something similar to the traditional Warhammer Quest 1995, where you draw the tile cards and then starting to basically map out your dungeon rather than have it created at the start like in the original rule sets. And I think it's a really clever system. It is one of the cleverest I have seen around, and it actually applies to all the quest types. So we know that in the original Cursed City there is one mission type which is called Deliverance, where you save the civilians, and you basically uses the tiles, the exploration tiles, to sorry, not this one, to map out your dungeons. And there is also a grave tide which will chase you down, but this is only for this specific journeys. But what Jose has done is he has uses some of the original components that comes with Cursed City to make it playable with the other hunt, scavenge, and even decapitation missions as well. And the way he did it is really clever. So if you have played Cursed City, you know that there is 8 kind of mortis cards. These are cards that represent your hero's death. So if they went out of actions and they didn't manage to revive, for example, they will be classified as a dead hero. The funny thing about the original rules is that once you reaches 5 death, then the game is over, because you have to have 4 heroes at the same time to start a mission. But obviously the game comes with 8 cards, which I don't know what that is for. But the clever thing is Jose managed to find a way to utilize these cards. So the way he did it is, if we looked at the original exploration deck, it is just basically a map and showing you the layout, how many enemies you're going to face, the doorways, portals, and so forth. It doesn't really tell you, it's not that interesting at the end of the day, because you just basically draw it through, fight enemies, go to the next one, and that's it. But what Jose has introduced is 2 things. First of all, a secret room, and the second thing is a T-junction. And the way he builds his deck is basically, first of all, you randomly pick one of these cards. For example, this one. This will become your extraction point. So this is where you need to reach at the end of your dungeon or your mission, and you will need to leave from this tile. And we basically need to find this tile and put it aside. So it's here. So this is the blacksmith's room. So we need to reach there. So we put it aside, put a mark on it, and basically this is where we need to reach at the end. And then what we need to do next is we need to draw another 4 tiles, 4 tile cards, and then mix it with this extraction tile. and then we put it at the bottom. So this is first part of the deck, and the second part of the deck is a bit more interesting. So we use 2 of these mortis cards, and then again we find additional 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 cards. And then we mix it up with these mortis cards. So I'm going to look away, but I know that you will be able to see how I mix it. But once I mix it, then this is the top deck. And what I need to do is add the original one, the ones with the extraction point, and add the new ones with the 2 mortis cards on top of each other. And this becomes the journey deck, which we can use for the hunt missions rather than just the deliverance missions. And the way it works is really clever because, again, you do it the same way as deliverance. You need to draw a card when you open the room. So for example, if I open this room, this is the first room that we need to set up. Okay. And I think it's this one over here. So we do it the normal way. We put it here. We put the exit point at the end. Now this is the interesting part because Jose introduced something called a T-junction. For those of you who knows about the Warhammer Quest 1995, the original one, there's a lot of T-junctions where you need to split your dungeons. So there are multiple options for you to do, to go. And the way Jose introduced it is to roll a dice. So if you roll a 1, sorry, if it's a 1, then this tile is actually a T-junction. So you can see there's multiple ways you can set up a T-junction depending on how you want to utilize your table size. So in this case, if that's a T-junction, it will become something that looks like this. So instead of having just 1 exit at the end, like the deliverance, you can have 2 exits over here. And for those of you who have played Warhammer Quest 1995, you will know that you can actually set up a room, 2 sets of dungeon tiles using this system. So basically you draw the cards from the bottom, so you drop it like this, drop 1 over here, drop 1 over here, drop 1 over here, 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 and there. So you can see it creates a dynamic decision that you have to make, because you now have to decide which way to go, right? So do you go this way or do you go down? And if you go all the way to the end and realize that you can't find the extraction points, then you have to backtrack all the way back over at the other side. And if there's more T-junctions, then it will be even more interesting. So this is a very clearly a clever system to utilize what we have that comes with the game. So the exploration ties and also these mortis ties. Oh, I haven't mentioned what these mortis ties are, mortis cards are for. So Jose also introduced something called a secret room. So the first time you flip over or you find one of these mortis tie cards, you need to put a locked room at the end of the current tile. So like this. And you can't open this one until you find the second mortis card, where you find the key. And once you have the key, you can come back to this room and open this door. Now, this door will reveal a secret room, and that secret room will have there will be multiple different kinds of secret rooms depending on your missions. So if it is a hunt mission, you can basically if you haven't killed enough of those champions, hostiles, then all the remaining hostiles will be in this room. So you don't have to keep waiting them to spawn and so forth. But it creates an interesting decision point as well, because for example, if we have already killed 3 champions, while the mission requires us to kill 10, then there will be 7 left, 7 hostiles champions that we need to kill. Do you go through this the dungeons and then hope for them to spawn, or do you hunt for the key by finding the second mortis card and then come back to this room, open it up, and fight all 7 hostile champions in one go? It's a really difficult decisions, because if you have 7 hostiles champions, that is a really tough fight, and we only have 2 heroes. So this is a really clever system, because you don't even need to print out any cards at all. Just use whatever you have in the box, and it creates such an interesting dynamic way of creating a dungeon. Now, there is one issue with this system, which is there are only 19 exploration cards. So there's basically, for example, this one, if we have this card, the other side will not be presented. So we have obviously 20 tiles, so 20 double-sided tiles. So there is a total of 40 individual unique tile sets, and we only have 19 cards. So the way I handle this is I will normally also roll a dice. So if it's 1, 2, 3, I will use this face of this card, of this tile, and if it's 4 to 6, then I will basically flip it over and use the other side, so then I can use all the different map tiles rather than just one side of it, so I can see this one and this one. So I think this is a really clever homebrew rules. So thumbs up to Jose, and this is just the first iteration, and it gets me really excited to play more of his homebrew. Now, he also has something called ambush in his rule set, and that is also a really clever way of using what we already have in this game, and it basically allows us to add a lot of variety to the game. So the way it works is, if you look at the Destiny dice, the original rules that states that when you roll any doubles, you will need to discard them, so you can't utilize them. So you will always do this anyway. So you will always roll, remove the doubles to one side that you don't use. Now, there are, other historical, white dwarf materials that says that, if you want to make the game more difficult, you can actually use this as a sign to say, this is something that we use this to symbolize the hostiles becoming more powerful or more dangerous. And one of the rules, or the homebrew rules I found from BGG, I think originally published by Joe from Drive-Through Games, is this Destiny table. And this is a really clever one, because what it means is whenever you roll a Destiny dice of doubles, the enemies becomes more dangerous. So in this case, if I roll a double 2, then the last hostile group on the initiative track makes an immediate activation roll in this Destiny phase. So basically, the enemy will immediately attack you, which makes it slightly more difficult. Now, I combined this table with Jose's ambush rules. So you can see there's also an ambush rules here, but I like Jose's ones a little bit better. So the way it works is, if you roll any double ones during the power, not power phase, that's for 1995 Warhammer Quest, but if you roll any double ones over here, then your heroes get ambushed. and you will need to draw an encounter card. Because there are 2 dead walker zombies. And the funny thing is, these are not placed as the original rules. So they will be placed directly next to your heroes, like this. And they will attack immediately. Now you can kind of try to get away from it by acting first. In that way, you need to roll your agility die. So in this case, Gels and Derek will need to roll a triangle die, so this one. So for example, if I rolled it, nope, failed. It means that we can't act faster than these zombie ambushers. And they will basically try to attack us. I think they attack with also a triangle dice. And nope, they failed to attack us. They didn't bite us. But for this rules, what it means is that you are never safe at one point of time, because anytime you want to rest, if you roll a double 1, you get jumped, and there's no way you can kite it because they jump directly on top of you. So that's the problem. And if we couple this with the additional rules from BGG, from Joel, then this will become even more complicated. So I don't think Jose meant to cooperate to include those additional boons, those double 2s to double 5s. But if I do, for example, if I roll a double 1 and double 2s, then what it means is these zombies jumped on us, attack once, and then immediately attack another time. So they become really, really dangerous. Even though these zombies are normally very weak, they only have, I think, 2 to 3 wounds. You can kill a lot of them in a single round. But by introducing this ambush rules, what it means is you will always need to be very careful where you position yourself. So if I'm playing with more than 1 heroes, then I might want to do something like cornering, right? I want to stay in the corner so that I don't get that many hostiles placed next to us at any point of time when we get ambushed. So it introduces a lot more interesting decision making to the game. So that's basically my demo or impression to some of the house rules available at the moment. And this game was just out for less than a month, and the fans are doing their work to make it a lot better than what it originally is. So that's it. Thank you everyone for watching. I'll see you next time. Bye bye.